Everything is a prototype. Every object, every concept that we create can be further improved, can be further optimized. Hello product people and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mimi and I'm a UX and discovery coach. Today I will give you a definition of the term prototype that might be different from what you think a prototype is. And I will also share 6 different prototyping techniques or methods with you. In her book Prototyping for Designers, Catherine McElroy says that a prototype is an idea brought into a specific format so that it can be brought to others with the intention to test and improve it. She also states that different people have different understandings of the term. For instance, a developer might say that a prototype is something made out of code and that this code might be later on used as the production code. On the other hand, a designer might say that it's a clickable mockup that was created in a specific prototyping tool. A business stakeholder might think that it's a proof of concept that is fully functional and can be used by salespersons in their sales pitches. Those definitions are all correct, but at the same time limited. I also discussed this in my latest article and you will find the link in the description below. I define prototyping similar to Catherine McElroy as the process of externalizing your thoughts and ideas with specific intents. And those are mainly comprehending, communicating and experimenting. Most of the tools that are out there help in more than one area, of course, but today I clustered 6 of them for you. Let's start with comprehending. How might prototyping help you in this area? Well, to fully grasp and understand complex or complicated issues, you have to visualize them, you have to work with them. You can't do that in your head only, that's impossible. In my article I mentioned user story maps and user journey maps. Those are tools that can help you understand your users and uncover hidden problems, for instance. But let me show you 2 more. First of all, clickable mockups. Yes, my most favorite purpose of click dummies is understanding and comprehending. Because when you start to craft out a solution or an idea into something tangible, you also encounter traps and pitfalls that you haven't thought of before. That's because you start to work on the details. The icing on the cake with this is that you can also use your click dummies in your experiments later, if they reach a certain adequate state, of course. Okay, second, assumption mapping. And with this, there are several different versions or approaches available, but they all have in common that you cluster and order a list of assumptions. And in doing so, you are able to identify gaps and missing pieces of information. And it also helps you in prioritizing and deciding what to do next. Okay, let's move on to communicating. Personas are a common method in this bucket. But as I already said in my last video, I am still working on a special on personas, so I will leave them out today. Instead, let's talk about user flows. Those also come in a variety of different types and forms. How your user flow looks and which fidelity level it has strongly depends on what you want to achieve with it. And of course, user flows are also a great tool to understand. But let's focus on how they help in communicating. With a user flow, you can communicate to your team members or stakeholders how a user moves through your product, for instance, your website or your app. Which screen comes next? How are the different screens or states connected with each other? Other than in a click dummy, you do this from a bird's perspective. You give an overview of the flow. Okay, vision types. A vision type is a form of prototype that is used to communicate your product vision. For instance, to your stakeholders or your management. This is often used for getting the buy-in of decision makers. A vision type can be a high-fidelity clickable mockup, or for instance a video that shows how a person is using the future product. Okay, let's move on to experimenting. As I already said, click dummies are a typical form of prototype that are used for UX testing. But that's not all. What you could also use are paper prototypes. Paper prototyping is a very lightweight, fun and easy way to test out your solution. Paper prototypes can also be clickable and interactive, but of course they have more friction and lower fidelity than a digital prototype. If a user clicks on something, the facilitator has to mimic the interaction or the reaction of your product or idea. So, for example, they present a new screen or paper that represents a model, for instance. Okay, finally, sitemaps. But Mimi, are you serious? How can sitemaps be tested, or how is testing sitemaps helpful? Well, that's very easy. You prepare a sitemap and show it to your potential users to find out if they understand the structure that you designed, the information architecture. You can just ask them and discuss the sitemap with them, or you can go as far as presenting them an interactive sitemap where they can move the elements around and make their own suggestion. Okay, those were my 6 prototyping techniques, methods, tools. I hope you find this video helpful. If so, like it, share it, comment on it, and if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel and activate the notifications. This way you will never miss one of my videos. Okay, see you next time. Bye!